Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the movie Logan. And I think they did a really good job with this movie. Granted, it is pretty long, but I can't really think of any real spot that you could have done without. They do a good job of using a lot of the time to explore Logan where he is now and kind of take him on his journey to the end, as well as with Xavier and kind of introducing us more to the character of Laura. And overall, it's a really well done movie, more done in the vein of a Western, which is fitting because Logan has so many different influences. Like the whole soldier bit that we've seen explored with like being a weapon and bestial, and also the whole Ronin part with like Japan and how he's so warrior-like and trying to protect people. And this one kind of culminates all of that with like him being weary and just broken down and still being the role of a protector that he has grown to be. He has throughout his life been told and challenged to be this weapon and killing machine. And he has those skills, but he is in a vastly different space now because he has used those skills to help protect people, and he still uses those skills to protect people. And I really like how it kind of circularly brings him about where he is originally from Canada and he is now in Mexico, mainly being a kind of like limo driver trying to save up money and everything. And the action propels him to go back to Canada. And there's just a lot of cool stuff in this film. The first of which is in the beginning where we are shown a kind of teaser for Deadpool 2. Now, it doesn't show any kind of like plot points or anything from Deadpool 2, but it gives us some nice Easter eggs and everything, hinting at, of course, Cable and all that, and making fun of like superhero movies, and just kind of getting us that little taste of Deadpool to get us through till Deadpool 2 eventually comes out. And it was just really well done and really fit pretty well in front of Logan. And I do like the extended trailer, like teaser trailer that's online a little bit better because it just gives a little bit more stuff like Stan Lee and all kinds of different things. And it just overall sets a pretty good tone because what we're going through in Logan is pretty balanced in my opinion. Now granted, we do have this overwhelming sense of kind of like darkness and everything, but it's very well done in that it also balances it out with humor. So we find out that the setting is in 2029. Logan is doing limo driving to save up money so that way he can get this boat and him and Charles can kind of like go off on the sea. Because we're finding out that mutants haven't been born in like 25 years. That they are not at the Xavier Institute anymore. And Charles is having seizures and everything, and it's affecting the world around him. Of course, he is an Omega level mutant whose powers are vastly more powerful than those mutants around him, and if they got out of control, could do a world-ending event. And we learned that these seizures are coming more frequently, and that they're pretty much drugging him to make sure that he doesn't have any more episodes. We see that Logan is not healing as fast, that his claws are not extending all the way. We see this fight because people are trying to take the tires off of his limo, and he just goes Wolverine on him. And one of the great positives of this movie is we get a truly unleashed kind of version of Wolverine, in that we see him going ham on people, and we see the effects, him cutting off arms, taking people out with deadly efficiency, even though he is at the kind of last legs and not really in his prime anymore. But he still has those skills and is able to take people out, even though he'll get shot and it'll take him longer to heal. And seeing him trying to like deal with the sickness that he's got as well, because not only is Charles sick, Wolverine is sick as well. And not just with an illness, because we learn later on kind of alluded that the adamantium in his body is poisoning him and weakening him and killing him. Because he gets to a doctor at one point, he's like, it's killing you, man. You gotta do something. He's like, I'm alright, and just kind of like goes out. But we also see the weight of like tragedies and everything, because we find out that, I guess with the first episode of Charles's seizures, he probably killed everybody at the Xavier School. It's never really brought up and alluded to any more or dug any deeper, but it's pretty much there. And it's like, that has affected both of them, because Charles would be hurt from that, but Logan would be hurt from that the most, because he thinks that he's cursed. He even talks to Laura at one point and says, those who I care about die around me. And that is like the biggest wound for Logan in this movie. He wants to care for people. He can try and protect people, but when he loses them, that's the biggest wound. And you see it in the way he carries himself throughout the film, that he can't take losing any more people. And we see as he's taking Laura, because she was from an escaped Weapon X program, that this pharmaceutical company had pretty much wiped out the mutant gene through like using what we eat and consume, and like putting it and taking mutation and taking it out so that way they can do it for themselves and create their weapons and everything. And we learned that Laura is Logan's daughter, and that they've used his DNA to create another Weapon X, and everything that she's going through, seeing the phone that the nurse had that she was trying to buy passage for Laura to go up to Canada, because they're supposed to be the safe place, this Eden for mutants, for people like her. And he's like, it doesn't exist, because we look through and we find these cool Easter eggs of them making actual X-Men comics for this movie and saying it's all fake and everything. And it's just, Logan is just cynical now to the point that he doesn't believe it, but he's going to try and protect this little girl because people are after her. They want to weaponize her like they weaponized him. And of course, they start from Mexico, they escape, and of course we see all the like little threads popping up, because Charles was talking to him before saying you got to go to the Statue of Liberty. And of course, where does he have to pick up his two newest ride passengers? At the Liberty Motel. And it's just kind of cool to see that kind of stuff, that he's still got his telekinetic powers to actually see this kind of stuff and see what's going on, because he knew about Laura's existence, because it's like there's been no new mutants him to actually know about. So, of course, the nurse that was with Laura is killed, and of course Laura stays away, and we get this kind of big introduction to her, and that she's really quiet, and then when the people come to get her, she kicks their asses. And I have to hand it to the actress that played Laura. She was able to bring a very good sense of who Laura is, and to be the daughter of Wolverine. She's able to get that, like, I don't give a fuck who you are, I will kill you. And just using her claws on her hands and her feet, just the way, the ferocity she was able to do, and just like jump around and like roll a dude's head because she had taken out all the people in there, and she just like, she's not doing it. She's not taking shit. And just seeing her kind of still be in this kind of primal mode that Logan has been in before, and seeing him kind of dealing with that. Like she's about to like kill this dude at a convenience store because he says, no, you can't do that. And then Logan's like, no, we don't do this. And then they just go out. And seeing that their one friend, who was the tracker mutants, being coerced and beaten to tracking them, it's just like hard because he doesn't want to do it. But if he doesn't do it, he's going to die. And just seeing him kind of get through everything, see Charles have another episode, and Logan and Laura just kicking ass to like take out and protect Charles. And of course, they meet up with another family, and they get taken in and have this nice kind of like family dinner. And you think, oh, this is good. And Charles is trying to get Logan to re-accept that part, to care for people, because we can't lose that. Because otherwise, you don't have anything to live for. And Logan has been contemplating suicide with an antimanium bullet. And then, of course, we know what's coming. The other shoe drops, and those looking for Laura find them and kill the family that's there. But they introduce a new weapon on the field, X-24, a clone of Logan. And it's even worse because he's the one that mortally wounds Charles. And it leads to a great character moment for Logan, because after that we see X-24 taking her off, and then Logan goes in and sees Charles, and he says, "Charles, it wasn't me. It wasn't me." Like he's pleading with him that, please don't think that I would do this to you. And like seeing that emotion and seeing him bury Charles afterwards, once they were able to take out X-24 for a little bit and just get away, and seeing him choked up, losing one more person in his family, it's just really well done. And then seeing him beat up the truck is a little bit funny, but it's also a little bit sad, seeing the rage of him just losing more people. Hugh Jackman really shows all the different aspects and assets of Logan as a character. The protector portion of him as he gets back into it later on, kind of like the old gunslinger putting on his guns again, which we saw as they had shown this old western and what it kind of means to be that kind of lone protector. That yes, it's lonely, but you shouldn't be alone. And yes, some people have to do bad things, but that doesn't mean that they are bad people. And yes, that part with the truck is somewhat a little bit silly, but also a little bit sad, because you're seeing his rage and frustration of just keep losing and losing. He's the one who can live and survive all these horrible wounds, but that doesn't mean that the healing factor heals the pain of losing those people. And then we get to see Laura kind of like taking him a little bit further on because he'd been so wounded and passed out and everything, and then hooking up with her friends and everything, and being pissed off that he's pushing her away and contemplating suicide and all that, and they kind of go on ahead, and he sees that they're fine almost across the border, and there's this medicine that they would give them to make them more effective fighting machines, and seeing him just charge in, take all the medicine at once, even though it's not advised, and just go full on beast Wolverine mode, and just taking out these people. And yes, he's getting wounded. This is probably his last stand, but he's doing it to protect these children, because they should be allowed to be children and be free and not be weapons and patented by these fucking war machine people. And it's just seeing him take out the one scientist dude and just fight X-24, and it was just really well done and cool. I do have a quibble in that we see all these kids and they have really effective combat powers. And they all use that to take out the one dude. Wouldn't they have been better utilized taking X-24, putting him into such a space, and then of course finally letting Laura use the adamantium bullet to take him out? I didn't really quite get that, because it could have led to a different ending. I don't mind that X-24 like pretty much took Logan out and he's mortally wounded, and then of course Laura gets the adamantium bullet, takes a gun, and shoots X-24. Now, a good portion of his head's gone. I'm not quite sure if he's completely out of the picture, because it still falls within the realm, because I don't know how canonical Origins is, X-Men Origins Wolverine, because he got shot in the head with an adamantium bullet, and it only just affected his memory and everything. I don't know if, since X-24 was loaded up with the same kind of drug that Logan was, if it somewhat affects his healing factor to a point that if it's like a really damaging injury, if it would take him out completely. I just don't know. It wasn't very clear if he was killed at the end of this, if they could bring him back. But we see Logan die and see the touching moment between him and Laura, and her calling him daddy. and everything, and being really upset, and him saying, so this is what it feels like to have family and everything, and seeing him pass, and it was just really well done. And seeing his grave and everything, and then Laura switching it over to the X to show that this was like one of the last X-Men killed and everything, and then them going further up north, was just really well done, and showing the end shot of the grave, just a really good fitting end to Hugh Jackman as Logan, and just overall throughout the arc that we've had with everyone from the beginning of the X-Men. And I know some people would be like, oh, we want to see him if they get over there and get to Eden, if there was an Eden. But the main purpose of this journey was this end destination, to show Logan had learned to accept family again, even at the end, and this was Logan's journey. And hopefully we get to see more of Laura's journey, because I think she would be a very good character to take up the mantle of Wolverine throughout the films if they continue on that route. And I was just overall really happy with it, even though it was long, and it just, I didn't have a problem with the length because it expounded upon what was needed to be expounded upon and got us to wrap up this portion of the X-Men film universe. So those are all my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.